right, guys, top of the morning. Happy, March 11th, coming to you alive, coming to you well, and coming to you well rested today. I'm fasting right now. I will not start eating till 1. I only eat from 1 to 8 o'clock. And so just feeling really good. It's the second day, but I always like doing this throughout the year because it just kind of resets. I feel really good. But today I'm beyond excited. Now, I live in an excited state, and so just excited about this person and this human being in our space, and we'll get to all that in just a few moments. But if you're a guest here for Keep It Moving, this is Keep It Moving. This is where we truly believe in the power of the collective wisdom, and we keep it moving towards our dreams, goals, and vision. And that, my friends, is not just some catchy slogan that I came up with. That is something I truly, truly believe. And I look at some of the faces on the screen, and I've absolutely watched that during our time together, their growth and their consistent, imperfect, gritty action, and always moving forward towards their dreams, goals, and vision. And so today we're going to pop this thing off. But before I get to our special guest, before we get to greetings and salutations, per usual, I always have somebody bring us out on the field. And that person sets the tone. We're having a quick huddle before we come out of the tunnel and come out on the field on game day. And so that person's going to be Miss Evangeline. I wanted to call on you because I'm so glad to see you here, per usual. The baby's getting big. She's so beautiful. And I'm just so stoked to have you here. So Evangeline, I'm going to have you set the tone and bring the group out on the field on this amazing Wednesday morning. So no pressure, all the pressure. So let's roll, big dog.
Morning, everybody. Well, I guess this one was just top of mind because I was just talking with a friend about this. And so we've all heard of the phrase, right? A jack of all trades, but a master of none. But more people, and my friend included when we were chatting, most people don't know that there's the last phrase of that, which is jack of all trades, master of none, but often better than a master of one. And so I think that that's really, that hit for me as an agent. Well, I mean, it hit for my friend as we were talking about it, but it hit for me as an agent because if you think about it, we are the ultimate project managers, right? We are not just helping someone buy or sell their home, right? We have to make sure, are we looking at those disclosures? Is our file completely scrubbed? Is every loose end tied, right? And so, we're a salesperson, we are looking at inspections, we're managing vendors, and we're also managing our clients' emotions. It is so emotional too. Oh, of course my fire alarm's going off. I guess I'm cooking. I was cooking. I was really cooking verbally and physically, but I'm going to leave it there. That's all right. What I got.
Leave it there. I'm going to have Blessing pick up the ball from right there, my friend. Let's continue this opening sentiment, and hopefully there's no fire. It's just you cooking with emotion. So Blessing, I'm going to have you pick up the ball from there. Let's continue the sentiment.
Because I have spent some time with Evangeline, that does land where we do have to take on so much, and we end up being everything for our clients, and knowing that it's a privilege to be able to guide them through. And I'm always going to lead with the heart of gratitude and say that no matter how stressful that seller is or how unreasonable and the level of delusion that they operate in, we have to bring them down to reality. The load that we have to carry, it is still a privilege to get to do this every single day. So let's walk in the fact that we do get to do this. We get to choose how we show up. We can show up with the Brooklyn accent, show up with a stinky attitude, whatever it is, but we get to choose. And we do. It's just such an honor every day to wake up and do what we do. And because I'm so excited to hear from Roxanne, and just to say, you guys show up authentically as you are, but I don't want to take any more time from our lovely guests. Just show up with gratitude and enjoy what we do.
That's right. That's right. So my friends, before we go into this, I saw something earlier that really kind of reminded me of our guests, and I'm going to segue into this in just a moment. But let me encourage you one more time to just share this with everybody. If you're on this call, a reminder that these calls are recorded. Would love to see your faces. I would love for you to be present in this moment. And how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. That's my thoughts. That's my sentiment. And even if you're driving, I get it. I want you to be safe, but if you have the ability to be here, but welcome to Keep It Moving Group Coaching, you guys. I saw a couple of these, and these are old school closes from Zig Ziglar. And I remember reading Zig Ziglar books when I was really young and early on in sales. But if you know anything about me, I truly, truly believe in restoring the dignity of being great salespeople. I wear it as a badge of honor. I'm very prideful to do what we do. And I look at sales as a very, very positive thing. And that is my identity associated with the sales career. So there's a couple closes that Zig Ziglar made as a brand tenet, as a core philosophy for him. And I wanted to share some of these because it directly correlates to our guests today. And so first off, this one says, you don't close a sale, you open a relationship. And what I love about this is because the person that you're going to hear from in just a moment, Roxanne Adams, she has done this to perfection in her career. Ziglar's most famous reframe, the close is not the end, it is the beginning. Every deal you sign is the first day of a client relationship. Close with that in mind. You see, what I'm doing is I'm opening a relationship. I'm building something for the future. And let's continue on to number 2. Help enough people get what they want and you'll get what you want. You see, that is a selfless act. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can. Because when we say that we want to serve at the highest level, it is going to show in your ability to go out and find that next person, prospect at the highest level. Because what you're doing is you're trying to find the people that truly, truly need you to be their guide, to help them and to walk them through this beautiful, beautiful experience of home ownership or selling their home. His entire philosophy was built on genuine service before commission. Genuine service before commission. When your prospect feels your genuine interest in their outcome, the close becomes a formality. You see, the close becomes a formality because your consumers can feel that. When you are leading with heart, when you are leading with purpose, with a cause, with a crusade to truly serve them at the highest level, I promise you that type of energy and that vibration is felt. When you are just in a lane of I'm doing this for myself, people feel that. They know what a selfish person feels like and they know that type of energy. And then the third one, people buy on emotion and they justify with logic. Ziglar knew the decision is emotional first, always. Led with the feelings, follow with the facts, never reverse the order. You see, what we need to find is the emotional motivators. We need to get down to what I call their third level. The third level is the emotional motivators of why people are actually going to buy and sell. And when you could do that and you could do it poetically and you get there, then all of the stats, the figures, the market update, the marketing timeline, all of your marketing strategy, that all makes sense. It's backed by logic, but people act first on emotion and they back that with logic. The reason why I segue from there is because Roxanne does this poetically at a very, very high level. And the reason why I wanted to bring Roxanne in is because what I wanted to do is I wanted to strip a lot of things down. And what I wanted to do is just really, really pull up a stool with you guys and have a conversation. I wanted her to share with you her experiences over a 15 plus year, career. And for her, her approach is different. Her style is different. But at the core of what she does, better than so many people I know in this industry, is she just builds authentic, true relationships, true to who she is. This whole spirit that she has that you're going to experience in just a moment is something that is contagious. It stays with you. And I remember the moment that I met Roxanne. It was literally almost 6 years ago. And I remember her walking in, we hit it off and we grew a relationship from there. She's just been such an inspiration in our environment. And so I'm going to pause for a quick second and I'm going to officially welcome and introduce Miss Roxanne Adams, aka Honey. And I want to say hello, Roxanne. Welcome to Keep It Moving. Welcome back to Keep It Moving, my friend. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and you and I are just going to have a conversation today, if that's cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for choosing me. I want to tell you that last night I was reading the email that you sent out to everybody and I was seeing what you said about me. And I thought it really touched my heart because I was thinking to myself, do I ever tell Elias what I feel about him? And how proud I am of him. And I want you to know that this space that you have built here with Keep It Moving is beyond spectacular. It's not something that is seen in our industry. Oh God, makes me emotional. Sorry. You're really special.
Wow. Thanks, my friend.
I want you to know that today I am going to talk about loving on people and truly caring for people. And when I think about that in my business, I think about how what you're doing is so spectacular because you love people and you're being very authentic here in this space. And that's why this is working. This is so amazing. You're doing what you were born to do. You are helping so many people. And I'm sure that the people here today would say the same thing, and they would back me up with this, that thank you for having this space where we can grow, we can be raw, we could be authentic, we could say a bad word. We don't have to be professional all the time. Like, this is so amazing. And I've watched you do it now for almost going on 6 years, because in July, it's going to be 6 years ago that I met you. Oh gosh, I hope I don't have like tears all over my face. But you know, it's just, I met you almost 6 years ago, and I knew you were special when I met you, but I will say I would never have dreamed you would have brought this many people into a space to help excel them and truly wake up 3 times a week this early and deliver value.
Wow.
Thank you, Elias, for all of this. And excuse my little moment here, but it's so emotional because I feel like where you come from, Elias, where I come from, and us being able to be here and speak. And today I pray I touch someone's heart and I bless someone's business in a way that will help them. I just feel very honored.
Wow. Roxanne, like, thank you. Like, thank all of you. Like, I do this for you guys, right? I do this for you and just want to see you grow. I just want to see you grow. It means the world to me. If it's one thing, if it's multiple things, I just want to see you grow, and I'm invested in you guys, and I do it from my heart. And so, Roxanne, I appreciate you at a very, very level. So thank you. Like, I appreciate that. So let's get into the story. I have
a couple. 91 seconds, just 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably the dog. If you haven't met her, she has an amazing, beautiful son. That it gets treated probably better than most humans. And like, Cooper is her man. So
he's over there hanging out on the couch watching the sun.
All right, so I prepared a few questions, and we can loosely go off some of this stuff, but I think that it's important that as we're all here and we're in this space, like, a lot of people want to know the origins. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of take you through this journey of where she has come and then where we're at today, and all the things in between. And then we're going to leave some room for you guys to answer some or ask some questions towards the end. And so I have a series of questions that I wanted to ask you, my friend. Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, cool. Like I said, just pull up a stool, you guys. We're going to have an organic conversation today. We'll leave some space at the end for you guys to ask some questions. So I want you to take us back to the beginning. When you first entered in real estate over 15 years ago, what did you believe about this business that helped you say, you know what, I'm going to stay the course when others quit? Because a lot of people don't make it in this industry. Right? A lot of people in 2 years, they're done. They have quit this industry. And so you've been in the business now. Walk us through how long, your origins, and then how did you stay the fight when a lot of people quit over the years? So share with us.
All right. Well, I love this space here. So I'm going to be really honest here, because all the people I see on here, I know all you guys, most of you guys. But I'm going to be honest. I was 21 years old. And I did not know what I was going to do with my life. So I tried this thing called selling real estate. I did not know what selling real estate was. What does that even mean? I have no clue. I graduated high school. My first job, let me take you back a little bit. My first job, I was 14, and I got a summer job because I wanted to buy a pager. Right? I was so motivated. I wanted to get my pager. So I got a summer job at the Nevin Community Center in Richmond. If you guys know Richmond, you know where the Nevin Community Center is. My mom did not want me going to the Nevin Community Center, but it was the last summer job left, and I was going to take it because I really wanted that pager. So that was my first job I ever had. High risk. You guys, I started high risk already, 14 years old. And then my next job, I worked at a pizza parlor when I was 15, and I flipped pizzas because I wanted to pay the bill bill for a cell phone now. Then follow that, I worked at Andronico's, and then follow that at 18, I worked at Home Depot. Those are all the jobs I had my entire life where I worked for someone. My last job, I worked for someone, I was 19 years old, and that was Home Depot. I walked out of there when they put me in front of that big roll-up door, and all the contractors were coming in with their wood, and none of them had a SKU number, and my line was getting out the door, and everybody was yelling at me, and it was really cold, and it was 5 a.m. It's the last time I ever worked for somebody. So that's it. Then real estate, I tried this thing called real estate. So at 20 years old, I got my books for real estate, not knowing what it was, but I wanted to just try it. And I got my license when I was 21, and I walked into this office called Prudential Real Estate. And they had sent me a letter to my mom's house. I lived at home with my mom, and they said, oh, we want to interview you. I thought I was getting a job, right? So I go there, and then they hire you, but I didn't know. I didn't really get a paycheck. So going forward, staying in real estate there was no other choice. That was what I was going to do. I started trying it, and I met all these amazing people at Prudential Real Estate, and I watched and seen how successful they were, although I was definitely not successful. But it took time, and I knew I was going to stick this out because I was actually looking around at the people around me and seeing their lives, and I was like, you know what? I want to be like that. I wanted those kind of lives. They all had a nice car. They all had a home. Mind you, I'm still, I'm 21 years old. And there was just no other option. I never had been to college. I only had those few little jobs I told you guys about. I don't really have an education. And I was just going to make this work. And when I started, I really just started enjoying it. And although I wasn't making good money, I really enjoyed what it was.
So I have a follow-up question to that initial question. What moment early on in your career shaped the way you approach relationships in business? Because obviously you've built a relationship-based business, and we'll get more into that in a moment. But was there something early on that said, you know what, this is how I'm going to approach this business? When did you identify that you were amazing at building great relationships? Did something early on happen?
No, Elias, I don't believe I ever identified it. I just will tell you, 22 years ago, that's how you sell real estate. It was relationships. That was what I was taught. I studied Brian Buffini. Many of you probably know. He talks about business by referral. That was the first convention I went to in Monterey. And all he talked about was relationships. So that was the only option, right? There's no Zillow, there's no Redfin. I mean, I barely learned how to use a MapQuest to go do my tours. I didn't even have an email address. So relationships and belly-to-belly business was the only way you did business. So that's just how I was brought up in it. I was brought up to learn. The client comes to the conference room, you shut the door, you have a conference with them. There was no such thing as Zoom. Everything was very personal, very raw, uncut, emotional. And that's just how it started. So that's all I really know. And it's been a beautiful thing. I mean, I told you before when we spoke, I've done more sales at my kitchen table, than in some of these conference rooms at the office. I invite people to my home, make charcuterie boards, eat snacks, write offers.
So no matter what has happened in this business, and no matter how it's evolved, tech, tools, Zoom, that is still the core of your business, and it's still worked for all this time, no matter what. That relationship building has always
100%. It's the best thing. Yesterday, I brought a client to my house because I was showing a condo here in my complex. And I said, by the way, do you guys want to see what my unit looks like? I have a 2-and-2. I'm showing you a 1-and-1 right now. But if another 2-and-2 comes on the market, you can see the floor plan. Good thing I keep my house clean all the time. I brought him over. I don't know. It's just, I love it.
But that's really the energy that we get from you. It's just so welcoming. Hi, come on in, come into my home. Come on. Right. That's the vibe that you give off. So I love this.
I don't want to be, I'm not scared. I think sometimes agents might be a little nervous to build too close of a relationship because they get scared that, oh my gosh, well, what if something goes wrong with their house? And then they're going to be calling me because we're so close. We're really friends now, and they're gonna be calling me every time the roof leaks or this or that. And I think sometimes people fear those things, but I really love that. I think that's the biggest advantage is when you close a deal and you go to do your follow-up call, right? Because I know everybody on this Zoom right now does a follow-up call. 3 to 5 days later to ask how the house is going. And they tell you, Roxanne, gosh, we didn't realize we were turning on the bathroom light and the fan keeps clicking on and off and this is happening. Don't be scared of those conversations. Those conversations build the relationship even stronger because now you get the time to shine. You now get to say, hold on, I'm sending my handyman over right now. He's going to fix that fan for you. Although now, remember, we no longer have a disclosure relationship per contract. But as I've shared with you, I will have your back no matter what. In any way I can serve or help you, I will. And I'm going to stick to that. There's a perfect example of now I could show off and show out of everything I talked about when I was showing them homes, telling them, don't worry, when you close, I will always have your back. Now I get to have their back.
Powerful, powerful. So let's go to the next part of the conversations and the conversation. This is rooted in standards, right? We all have our own standards. Some standards are different. Standard, I believe, never moves because once you move a standard, you no longer have a standard. So my question for you, my friend, is when you look at your career, what standards did you set for yourself early on that many agents either ignore or they never even committed to?
Oh, I love this question. My standard is to never be so busy that I cannot serve my client at the best and highest level. So for an example, I know what I could handle on my plate and I know how this process goes through a month. If I truly feel like I have a buyer that's falling at the waistline because I'm working on something else, I'm going to have that conversation with that buyer, or I'm going to pull in a partner that I truly trust that's going to serve them at the same level I would, because the standard is to never give someone less of service than you want to be remembered of. So I just want people to always remember I was there for them and I never left them at the sideline, or they never felt like their call wasn't answered, their question wasn't answered. I just want the highest service, and I'd rather have my client served at that level than to have more clients.
Wow. That's a powerful selfless approach and a selfless, thought process. And I want to ask you, because we've all gone through things. Raise your hand if you've gone through something in the last year, something personal, something that's weighing on you, something that's heavy, gone through trials, tribulations. I think it's safe to say. And as you've been in this business for years and years, obviously we see the business change. We see new tech tools, new laws, new rules, new ways that we approach our business. We saw the settlement. We saw, COVID and everything in between. Interest rates go to 8% or whatever. From a mindset piece, like, how do you continue to have this positive disposition despite everything that goes on around us personally as well as in our industry? How do you maintain your attitude?
None of that matters. None of that matters. Who cares about that? We still are here serving people and building relationships. It's like how many clients do you really need to serve per year to make a living? First of all, you got to know that, right? Because you can't constantly just be chasing the leaderboard, trying to get the next escrow. You have to be really focused on the one person that you're working on, and you have to do it at the best. Because if you do that, you're never going to be chasing your next client. I promise you, when you serve them at the highest level, they are telling everybody they know about you, and you're never going to chase your next client. So the market's not going to matter. Interest rates, COVID, I only really need to serve 30 people a year, 35 people a year is what I serve on a referral-based business. I make a fabulous living. I'm happy. I know what I want. I travel how I want to travel. I spend time with my clients, so much time with my clients. They make me the happiest. People will be like, what do you do? What's your hobby? Spending time with my clients. Going asking Jill tomorrow. We're going to go to brunch because her grandma's in town from the Philippines. I sold her grandmother's home in Oakland last year. And I always told her, Grandma, if you ever come back home from the Philippines, let me know. Guess what? Grandma's home from the Philippines. We're going to brunch tomorrow.
Okay. I absolutely love this. Because
you got to be a person of your word.
And so here's what's great about what Roxanne said. Is that she said something that really stood out to me. She's never chased the leaderboard. She's always chased the relationship. As a byproduct of her always putting the relationship first, do you think that her name has constantly been in the top 10 on our leaderboard? Always. She's always been a perennial top producer since we started this company. And so no matter what, but she's never like, where am I at on the leaderboard, Elias? Where am I at on the leaderboard? She's like, honey, I'm just going to go out there and love on my people. And as a result, I got an award for me, always so humble about it. So I love it. And let's talk a little bit
Thank you. I want to touch on one thing because I thought about this last week and I want to say to people while I'm on this call is you have to be of value. So focus on polishing yourself, meaning being educated in Prop 19, being educated when you're serving, right, an elderly person and they're going to sell their home and how they're going to transfer that tax base and what that looks like for them. Learn your client when you're in their house. You have to really listen to people. What is their next move and how can you financially help them with that? Meaning, how are you going to help them save money on taxes? Are you going to do a 1031 exchange? Are we going to sell and have to pay capital gains? Like, really know the person you're working with, because when you're able to strategically help them make their next move the best way so that a year later they're not saying, oh man, I wish my realtor would have told me I should have done a 1031 exchange. I would have saved all this money. It's not going to look good on you, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be of value because there are so many realtors out here. Oh my gosh, we're unlimited out here. But how many of them are truly sitting at the listing presentation and saying, this is what your seller's estimated proceeds sheet looks like? Did you want to do a 1031 exchange? Are you planning on paying taxes? Are you planning, like, what does that look like for you? Because when you have that education, they have a high level of respect for you and they will always come back to you. Secondly, I wanted to talk about disclosures. I want to give a really good example right now. I'm looking at a lot of disclosure packets and I'm reading TDSs and SBQs and I'm seeing people answer questions like remodeled kitchen. My question to everyone is, are you reading your disclosures after your seller fills them out? And are you helping them to fill them out correctly? We can't fill them out for them. I understand that, but I can absolutely call my client and be like, hey, I'm giving you an example right now. Hey, Lindsay, when I was at your home last week, you were so excited to tell me about your new gutters and your fresh paint. And you have RV parking. You used to have your boat there and you did a new AC and a new water heater. I noticed on section 7B, where you're able to really brag about what you did, you said remodeled home. I want to share with you that I would like you to really go back to Glide, revisit that, and I want you to type everything you shared with me and the date and the year that you did it. Because when I put that on to Disclosure IO and the listing agent is reading that and your home's for sale and the home next door is for sale and you're the same floor plan and the same square footage, but our disclosure packet shows new AC, new water heat, RV parking, new gutters, fresh paint, and theirs says nothing noted. What house are they going to? So are we serving our people? Are we really being of value to them? Or are we just throwing Glide out there, letting them fill their disclosures out, letting them figure out if they should do a 1031 exchange or a regular sale, letting them miss their Prop 19 transfer tax? Like, what are we doing? You have to be of value. And then that's how you're going to go down in the family line. You're going to be the realtor for the whole entire family forever.
Yeah. Listen, you guys, going down in the family line, when consumers were interviewed and asked across the United States of America, 85% of consumers, when asked, said that they would use the original realtor to purchase their next home or do their next transaction. And I think that number was right around 12% of the people that actually did. Why? Because we're not providing lifetime value, we're providing transactional value. And I think what you're hearing in this instance with Roxanne is that she's providing lifetime value. And I think that this goes into my next question, because I believe that you position yourself more so as an asset manager long-term, a portfolio manager, equity report, equity review. So tell me a little bit about that process when it comes to long-term care, asset management, portfolio review, equity report. How much of that plays into your follow-up for lifetime with your consumers? Let's go there.
So much of it, because you just touched on that. You don't want to be a transactional agent. A transactional agent gets one transaction, you close, you've never followed up with your client again after that. 5 years later, you're probably showing their home because it's listed for sale with somebody else, right? Yeah, it hurts. not good. And then you're kicking yourself. But a relationship-based agent is you're helping. Okay, let's talk about this. Everybody should have what in life? You should have an amazing tax accountant. You should have phenomenal financial advisor. You should have an attorney. And what else should you have? The best real estate agent. We are part of that. Everybody talks about the CPA, the lawyer, and the financial advisor. What about the realtor? You need a phenomenal realtor to help you look at your portfolio and say, and I work side by side with my clients, CPAs, financial advisors, because those people are tapping into me to say, hey, Roxanne, Mrs. Jones actually needs to liquidate an asset due to retirement coming up at 62. So what we're going to have you do is, can you sell this property and can you find her this property? So I'm having conversations not only with me and my client, but with their network of people, because those are the people at certain levels, and even at any level, honestly, everybody should have, so everybody on this call right now should have an attorney, a financial advisor, an amazing tax accountant, hands down. That's how life is you're gonna retire. So you have to have the confidence, and that's where we go back, the education and being of value to be able to talk to your client's attorney. I've done so many transactions where I don't even talk to the seller. The attorney does all the paperwork. I'm talking to their attorney constantly. I'm teaching their attorney sometimes. Like, hey, no, Mr. Attorney, we're not going to counter this back. Let me tell you why. Have that confidence because you know your contract, you have it memorized, you know your disclosures, you have them memorized, and no one's going to make you feel like you don't know your stuff.
Wow, really powerful. You guys, and I'm going to segue into building wealth. And obviously, you're on this call. You have a license to go and impact and make a lot of money for yourself and for your family. Well, what we tend to do as realtors is we act in the moment, right? It's really quick. I remember getting my first check. I cashed it. I don't know why I cashed it, but I cashed my first real estate check. I had like hundreds in my pocket, which was
I cashed my check too 20 years ago. So I got a paper check.
I was like $36,000. But anyways, I remember distinctly. But what we think about in this moment, or excuse me, in real estate is we often think in the moment. And what we're in this business to do is help other people build wealth, but we're here to build wealth for ourselves. And what does that look like, right? It's easy for you to go out and sell 30 homes, 20 homes, 10 homes. And it's easy for you to totally blow that money as well. And then what do you got to do? I got to start from scratch once again. Money came in, I bought the car, I bought the belt, I bought the shoes, and then I'm just grinding every single time. I think it's important to look long term, right? The clock is ticking on all of us. And so let's walk through your investment strategy, right? You have, tell us a little bit about the portfolio of houses that you have now. We'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about ADUs and how you started to really build this portfolio over the years, because now you have something that you've been able to build because of the wealth or the success of real estate, and now build true wealth. Let's have that conversation, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. The people I surrounded myself with around helped me. I didn't think about this on my own. I didn't make this up. I was taught by mentors. And one of my mentors many, many years ago told me one sentence that changed my life, and it was, be your best client. Be your best client. And where that came from was I was constantly sending him good deals, right? Hey, my friend wants to sell their home. It's their parents' home. They just kind of want to give it away. Here's a deal on your table. I would give those deals to him. He would pay me 3% buyer agent commission. Seller don't have to pay nothing. He took over everything, closed in 5 days. I watched him do this over and over, but I'm bringing him really good deals, right? And one day he sat me down and he said, Roxanne, I just want you to know you're doing a fabulous job. You bring me wonderful deals. And it had been this last deal that I had brought him. He made such a good amount of money on it that he wrote me a separate check aside from the 3% commission that he paid me. And I was on my way to Europe for my first vacation, going to Europe. And he goes, go spend this on your vacation.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when I had got back from that vacation, he goes, I want to talk to you a little bit about learning how to be your best client, because I want to see you win in this life, Roxanne. And he told me, you have to buy a rental property. And he started, kind of teaching me about it. Well, I thought about it. I was really scared. I don't know. I didn't have tons and tons of money saved, but you don't really have to have tons and tons of money saved. So the short sale comes along now in the short sale market. My client calls me a short sale of their home. He said, this is the one. You took the listing, get rid of the listing, sign it off to someone else that knows how to do short sales. You're going to buy it. No, I'm not going to buy it. You don't understand. The roof is like wet. The ceilings are wet. Oh my gosh. No, I'm not going to buy this house. No, you're going to buy this house. I promise you. It's going to be so good for you. I put an offer as a short sale for $160,000 on this house in San Pablo that I still own till this day. And the bank came back and countered me at 190. I said, see, I can't do it. Look at, they counter me up so high. That house is never going to be worth $190,000. You kidding me? It's a terrible deal. Well, I bought the house. Today, I've been renting that house since 2015. My first rent on it was $1,600 a month. My mortgage was $1,300 a month. At today's date, I rent that house for $3,000 a month. My mortgage is still $1,200 a month. That is what real estate does. It grows with time. You have to be very patient. Inflation, rents go up. Now, today's date, I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath ADU in the backyard. That is also renting at $2,950 as of actually today. I met the inspector yesterday. I have 2 homes now on that lot bringing in $5,950 a month. But it was not easy. It's not as easy as it sounds. The first house I had to remember, I bought it for $190, right? I did an FHA loan. Oh gosh, I don't know if I should say this, but I knew the appraiser. I said, please don't take a picture of the ceiling because I'm doing an FHA loan and you see them damn stains on the ceiling. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you guys. So pass it, buy my house with only 3.5% down payment, got a little $1,200 mortgage. I was making $1,600. I thought I was rich, you guys. But now today's date, I save my money. I'm never one to leverage. Everybody asks you refinance it to build your ADU. I know you guys are all gonna ask me that question. How did you build the ADU? Guess how I built the ADU, you guys? I saved my money. I saved my money. I paid cash for my ADU to the contractor because I just saved my money. I had no additional loans on that house. I still have a $1,200 mortgage and I'm bringing in $5,950 a month now on one property where I just saved my money to build that house. So every time I look at that house, it's like looking at my $220,000 bank account. So if you had $220,000 sitting in your bank account, it's sitting in that backyard right now. And it's spitting out $2,950 now every month, right? You're going to get back your money, which I don't even think about getting back my money. All I think about is, cool, I get $2,950 a month now, residual. That's great. I'm trying to keep the house forever anyways. I did the same thing with another house in Richmond, bought my client's family home, went to a listing interview, looked at the home, seen a fully detached garage all the way in the back on a huge, massive corner. Thought to myself, when I got home, how can I give them an offer for this house? Gave them a very fair offer. This is their family home. This is not a distressed property. I went side by side. I said, this is what I could sell it for on the market. This is what I could buy it for, which was minus 6%, the commission, right? I'll take it as is. And can I get a little bit additional less because I am going to take it as is? We came to an agreement, bought their home for fair side-by-side seller estimate proceed sheets, cover my ass. They can never come back and say I tried to rob them of their home, right? Very fair. I sat at their kitchen table. We did it together, shook on it, made a deal. I own that house till this day, took that detached garage, spent $100,000, made it a studio ADU. I rent the front house for $3,000. I've had the same tenant since the day I bought it and renovated it. And then I built the ADU in the back. I rent it for $1,500 a month. It's 350 square feet. I make $4,500 a month. My mortgage is $2,300. So it's residual income. But it's slow, you guys. I'm not a big flipper. I'm not even a big investor. I'm really not. Like, these numbers sound great, but if you put the time scheme, I bought the first one in 2015. Today's 2026. I'm just now making this kind of money because I've been nurturing and babying that home for all these years, taking care of it, maintaining it, making sure it's in good condition, raising the rents, and then saving my money because I knew I had that massive backyard. And one day I'm going to build a house back there. And I did it. And maybe other people would have done it sooner because they would have leveraged a loan, and that's fine as well. I'm just very conservative, and I'm the only person that's going to take care of me. I don't have no one to fall back on. So I'm very careful with my money.
Wow, I love this. Before I get to the general questions from everybody, JJ, do you have a specific question or contribution to this topic?
Just a few things that I completely agree with her. Is her and I have great conversations that usually go a lot longer than we expect. But so the couple of things is really know who you are. I mean, right now there's so much information available. Back when Roxanne and I started, there wasn't this much information. So really you have to figure out who you are. Everything is sexy. Everything's on video now. You can flip houses. You can do this. You can do that. Roxanne knows who she is. She likes being conservative. She paid cash for something that most other people would have leveraged the crap out of. I wouldn't have paid cash. I would have leveraged it, not as much as most people, but know who you are. Very important. Are you a nice person in general, or are you an aggressive person? Two people you can look at is Kuhn and Roxanne. Kuhn's a young guy. He's very aggressive. He really goes for stuff. Roxanne's more laid back. And so, yeah, you're going to leave money on the table when you're more laid back, but you have to understand who you are when you're talking about investments. And the other thing is, the biggest thing, and one of the things that you've been pointing out quite a bit these days, Elias, is we are salespeople as realtors. We are not in real estate. We are in sales. As soon as you get into investments of any kind that have to do with real estate, now you're in real estate. Prior to that, you're in sales. So Roxanne obviously is very successful at both. And the last thing that I was going to mention very quickly is taxes. Taxes. No one touches your money. You go from a W-2 with probably making less than what your commission check is going to be to this giant check. Taxes, super important. Pay your taxes early, pay your taxes often. If there's a correction, you can get it back, but don't be late on those taxes. That's it.
I love that, JJ. I love that. I take money out of every check and put to the side to pay my taxes and assure I do my quarterlies. And that's one thing. I agree with you, JJ. Woo, do not mess around with the IRS. I'm trying to keep everything I have.
That's right, my friend. That's right. You've worked.
I don't want them to come put liens on it.
Yeah, you put way too much effort and time into this. And so, final question, then we're going to open it up for Q&A. If you could sit across from a brand new agent today and put your hands on their shoulders and look them dead in the eye and say, honey, let me give you a piece of advice that would change the trajectory of your career, what would that advice be? If you're sitting there with Srey, if you're sitting there with Erica Garcia, if you're sitting there with Oliver, you're sitting there with somebody that is newer or newish, and you're looking them dead in the eyes and saying, this is the advice that I would give you. What is that advice, my friend?
My advice is to continue to learn and create value within yourself so you could be of value to other people, to always treat your client exactly as if you were the client and how you'd want the agent to treat you. I love elderly people. Let me use them for an example. Whenever I sit with an elderly person, I treat them the same way I'd want a realtor to treat my grandma if they were with them. You're really just doing the right thing with love, you know? Yeah. But be of value, continue to learn, continue to grow, and also get involved, you know, within your industry. Instead of just selling, get involved with associations. Like JJ, for example, is involved with so many things. It's so impressive. But get involved with like the political part of real estate, like your association, and help. That's being a part of it is really important, not just selling homes, but being like, hey, I sat on the board at Contra Costa Association of Realtors, and this is what I know. Kind of like here at my house, I sit on the board of the HOA. I'm able to tell clients when I'm selling them condos, hey, I'm the treasurer. I understand how this works. Let me read your HOA docs for you. Constantly grow and be of value. Don't be a transactional agent.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. If you hear what she said, start with you first, right? Start with you first. Become the best version of yourself, learn, educate yourself, get involved. But she said, put it on you. And so really love this conversation. We're going to do another one of these, but I love what you said is be your best client. When you find these opportunities, we give these opportunities away. And then what do? We collect a tip. Here's your 2.5, here's your 3%, knowing that if we buy and hold that asset long-term, that's going to turn into true, supplemental income for you. So Roxanne, I love this. So let's pause for a second. We're going to open it up for some Q&A, and we're going to stop the Q&A at 26 after, and then we're going to do some thanks and some appreciation to Roxanne. I want to invite you to something that she has going on tomorrow in Hercules. All right, so let's go to Evangeline. You have a hand up. What's your thought, contribution, or question for Roxanne? Let's roll.
Yeah, I just wanted to add into this that, Roxanne, she was my mentor as well. She's my business partner. We do every deal I have, she's on it, right? And so I just want to add a real life example of like, y'all, we really need to slow down, right? This was real. We closed on a home on one of our clients, and it was an elderly couple. And, they moved out. They were in a hotel for a couple of days until their next home that they were purchasing. So they sold their home in a hotel for a few days, waiting for their next home that they purchased to close. The listing agent tells me that, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I tell this to Roxanne. Roxanne's like, oh my gosh, why didn't we just do a seller in possession? Why are old folks staying in a hotel? And they're like, this makes no sense. Our clients would have been fine with this. What? Like, it really weighed heavy on her heart. And it's a reminder to me and to all of us to slow down, because I took that information from the listing agent. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks for the update. Moved on with my day. But right, how do you lead with heart, and how do you lead with value? And, yes, we're team fast, and yes, be fast, but how do we slow down? She reminds me all the time to slow down, of like, do you know the ins and outs of this ordinance, right? And what do we need to do to cover our ass? Yes, the listing agent told us that this ordinance is fine. Did you go and talk to the city and get it in writing that that's confirmed? Slow down. I think that's the best thing I've learned from her. And I just wanted to add that in.
Evangeline, I absolutely love this. Listen to the things that are not said. Listen for the things that are not said, right? In this case, body language, physiology, posture, like listen, be in tune with human beings. And I promise you guys will find truth. You'll find more answers. So I appreciate that, Evangeline. Let's go to Philip, and anybody else that has a question or a thought or a contribution on the conversation. Let's go, Philip.
Hey, Roxanne, thank you so much for all this amazing information. I'm a newer agent. I got my license. Tomorrow will be 1 month. You had mentioned about hiring certain people, a tax advisor, and you also said an attorney and an accountant. As a newer agent, when would you recommend that we consider hiring these people into our business?
Now. So I feel like you should start getting some recommendations, some referrals, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation after this call with you. You should have a financial advisor, and you should have an amazing tax accountant. You don't need the attorney right now. We're fine, but you definitely need those two things, because when you're structuring your taxes, as JJ said, you got to pay your taxes. We got to have a really good person to help you with that. And then financial advisor is so important, because now when you start paying your first year of taxes, you want to start putting money into your SEP IRA, your retirement, because now we're individual contractor. You got to build your own basically 401k, but it's a SEP IRA. Me and Kelly actually had this conversation not that long ago, and I helped her with that. Now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Love it. You guys, we have time for probably 3 more questions or contributions. Anybody else have anything that they want to share? Let's go, Oliver. What do we got, big dog?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
First of all, I want to thank Roxanne. Yesterday, she took the time to have a call with me. I had a question on a new listing, and she was amazing as always. So thank you, Roxanne. And this illustrates how helpful you always are to everyone. And I just wanted to add a little contribution for the tax part, which, obviously is very important. But let's remember that as real estate professionals here, we qualify with the IRS status as real estate professional, which is really a gold mine for most people. And most people out there cannot qualify, but us, we qualify because that's our main activity. And so if we can do what Roxanne did throughout the years, buying a few rental properties, knowing that we don't need a big down payment, right? Nowadays, it's possible to buy a fourplex with, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 3% down. We can get an FHA loan as long as we live in the property. So for those of us out there who maybe don't mind living in a rental property, just know that with a smallish amount, you can buy a fourplex. And right now, there's 100% bonus depreciation. So this is a huge tax advantage for us. Which means you can literally save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. So I want to maybe be a bit controversial, but we say we have to pay our taxes, but I would say we don't have to pay taxes, basically, right? And that's what wealthy people do, right? And
Right.
this is not about having tons of money. It's just about saving, but also buying properties with 3% down. So I just wanted to put this out there. I did this myself. I'm happy in a different conversation to talk about this, but I just wanted to illustrate this because we were talking about taxes.
Wonderful. Really great contribution. We're going to go Tiance, and then Blessing, you'll be the last contribution, and then we'll wrap session. Let's go Tiance, aka TT, aka Tanisha. Let's roll.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Elias. I'm coming up on my first year of real estate, and this meeting really hit home with me. I joined real estate because I love people. I love working. I love building relationships. And this first year in real estate, I've been flooded with so much information. It's a little overwhelming. So, Roxanne, I just wanted to verbally say thank you. Number one, for starting out the conversation emotionally, because that really touched me. Thanking Elias for creating this space, because this definitely has changed how I look at real estate. It's not just a job, it's a career. I'm also in it because I don't want to do anything else and I somehow have to figure it out. And you've said so many golden things that really touched my heart. I want to say that I went into contract yesterday and I'm so excited on my 7th transaction. I'm very excited.
Let's go.
But yesterday, this agent, I had to thank him. I called him and thanked the listing agent because he touched my heart in an email. We beat out 4 people. And I think our offer was chosen because of our relationship in the background and how we talked. I literally got on the phone with him every time advocating for my client. You know, I got to know my client, how they move, how they were going to respond. And I was telling him in the background, and he told me too, he's like, hey, you know, we can only give you 2.5% commission. I know you have to pay all these fees and all of this. And I was like, thank you for even acknowledging that. The fact that you came to me and showed me that and talked to me candidly really warmed my heart. So relationships are huge, not only with your clients, other realtors, your friends, my Zumba community. And I like how you said to kind of just bring it down. And that's what I'm learning, to just bring it down and start at the base and start working my way up to bigger things. So thank you.
TT, I absolutely love that. Wonderful contribution. Let's go, Blessing. Blessing, bring us home. Rapid fire, my friend. Last contribution of our session.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And Roxanne, I've wanted to have a conversation with you, and you said so many things that just answered a lot of the questions that I didn't know how to say. But I wanted to ask, with all of the years of experience, all of the deals you've done, you've been in different teams and brokerages, and you've done so much. If you were to look at your career and like summarize it, or have like one takeaway or one thing you wanted people to remember you for in this industry, do you know what that would be?
Oh, Blessing. I knew she was going to throw some intellectual stuff out there, man. Wow. How would I like to be remembered?
Basically.
I would like to be remembered as someone who truly cared for people. And I'd like my clients to, when they think of me, they would say, Roxanne changed my life.
God, I love this. Absolutely love this. Listen, you guys, sometimes we just have to go back to the music, right? We just have to go back to the music. A guitar, a mic, and an acoustic, a guitar, a mic, and a stool. Like, get back to that's the relationship, right? What we oftentimes do is we get distracted by all of these other things. What we have to ask ourselves is, how well am I doing at actually building human connection? All the other stuff will come later, I promise you. But sometimes you got to strip everything down. An acoustic guitar, a mic, and a stool. And that, my friends, is how you build amazing relationships, and you're conscious of it, right? You're conscious. Tech is not going to help you build a better relationship. Heart to heart, belly to belly. That's going to put you guys in the best position. So think about that, and think about, your development of actually how you build community and how you build relationships. And before we head out, you guys, I want to share one last thing with you guys. and I want to invite you to something really cool. So I have a partner in this business, and obviously Roxanne's one of our business partners, but Patty Goodspeed is also one of our business partners, and they're hosting an event, and this is happening tomorrow in Hercules. There is still spots available. This is called Master Key. It's a workshop designed for mastery. You're going to see these pop up all throughout the Bay Area and beyond. And Roxanne's going to speak at this event. This is going to be in person. Tickets are still available. I don't think there's a cost to it, but you do have to sign up. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 tomorrow. We'd love to have you guys come out, support, be there as a student, and also hear from Jessica Segura Hernandez, who is a relatively new agent, and in just the last couple of years has blown up. We have over 200 agents at our brokerage called Fast Real Estate Broker by EXP. She was number 9 in the entire company last year. So you're going to hear not only from Roxanne, you're going to hear from Jessica, and you're going to hear from one of the best lenders in the entire industry. And I will say that from the bottom of my heart. She is just incredible at what she does, but she's putting together this cool workshop, and it just happens to be Roxanne's on it. So I think that you guys should go out there and attend and support. I think it'd be great. Roxanne, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here as a guest. We're going to do a follow-up. How many of you vote that we do a follow-up session? Please raise your hand. How many people feel that we should do taxes, LLC, S Corp, and that type of conversation as well? Yeah? All right, cool. Cool. So listen, you guys, I will see you obviously on Monday, but on the 27th of this month, we are doing group coaching in person at our office in Oakland. More information to come on that, but we're going to dive into the mastery of open houses, and that's all rooted in deep relationships. So Roxanne, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a guest. Thank you for serving us all with all kinds of amazing game. And as always, you guys, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and make today a day that truly matters. Peace and love, my friends.